Justice League of America issue 2, Steve Orlando writing and Philippe Watanabe on art. So this is the next part. Connor dropped this. Now, I thought it was okay. Much like the first issue, I think it's kind of just a generic feeling arc for a Justice League team.
Yeah, I don't know why this has gotten such a spotlight post Justice League Suicide Squad. It feels very forced.
Do you know what I feel like? I feel like it's doing very similar things to the main Justice League book, and that it's doing these big stories that feel kind of generic. I think it's better written than that. It's not as tedious to read as Hitch's series.
But there's certain character stuff in here that is just driving me nuts, and it's not even the superhero team. It's Orlando, and I generally like Orlando, but I kind of feel he's just throwing stuff at a wall. This Lord Havoc stuff. Such a weird direction to go for the first arc.
It is. That is my biggest problem with it. Is I feel like this was a really weird choice for the. And I can't help but wonder, because I'm really loving what he's doing in Supergirl. Right? I think Supergirl's done nothing but get better. And I feel like this might almost be because I compared this to maybe Green Lanterns, but we just talked about how Flash kind of found its footing later. I'm wondering if this is kind of the similar thing where he's, before he gets to the meat of it that we actually want to explore with the team, kind of learn each other and that kind of stuff. Because
I still don't get. Batman makes such a big deal that there needs to be a human Justice League, and then you bring these villains in that are basically human. So I don't understand what he's trying to achieve.
Are the villains basically human?
Lord Havoc was born in that country. Just on another world.
Oh, sure, but I mean in the sense that they're very larger than life and have ridiculous, because you've got one of the guys is riding a giant bat.
Yeah, well, you have Lobo.
Sure. We've spoken about how Lobo is kind of the odd one out in the
living
team.
Being of light. It's just so weird. I almost would expect Orlando to tackle. What was that team with Manchester Black? They did Superman, was it the Elite?
Oh, the Elite, yeah.
I would almost wonder if that would have been a better, a team like that would have been a better foil.
But would that have felt too easy?
Interdimensional. Sometimes easy's not bad, and you could really focus on the characters.
It's kind of a similar thing in a weird way, although obviously it's more straight dictatorship, but this country kind of wants a dictatorship because they want the security. Right. And we kind of, obviously, the two main things that happen is that Batman was going to surrender himself, and because Havoc was negotiating, one of his henchmen like, I'm sick of this, we weren't supposed to negotiate, and he throws a fit, but then Havoc kills him, any more people unhappy with how I'm doing things. It's just kind of a generic villain power play kind of moment. But the way the issue ends is basically the government of this country have actually said, you know what, yeah, we want Havoc to rule us, and Havoc becomes the leader.
Well, that's also because his people have also kind of gotten to the people.
Oh, sure, yeah.
In the country,
As with any dictatorship, it's not unanimous. It's not like everyone's wanting this, but.
And you have the showdown with the Justice League of America with them, because that Deathbat character is chasing refugees out. Because
they show up to deal with him, and then the actual army of the country show up and say, "No, stand down. This is an act of war. If you try and stop this." So we leave in this weird place where the Justice League are working with a general, and the Justice League are like, well, we're going to have to treat this differently than fighting alien invaders or whatever. We're going to have to help the people get their country back, is kind of where it's going. And it's just okay, sure.
It's like a Suicide Squad story.
Isn't it?
That is very political.
This is very, arming the rebel forces to overthrow a government that is perhaps not as lawful as it should be.
Yeah, it's hitting on these things, and you get that that's maybe why he wants to tell this story. I think it's a weird choice for the first arc. I think the villains aren't that good, and that's the biggest problem I'm having with it. I'm still going to read it, because I think it's still easy enough to read. It's not, I don't read it and go, oh, this is difficult to follow, or it's a chore to get through. It kind of flows well enough. I'm reading it hoping that when we get to arc number 2, he'll get to properly explore the team members and have them bond, and we get that, because that's why it reminds me a little bit of Green Lanterns in that way. We really weren't into that whole Red Lantern stuff, but then when it took time to slow down and give us some Jessica and Simon actual bonding and learning them as characters. That's what I'm kind of looking forward to with
I
this.
think my concern is, as a Justice League book, editorial might mandate it has to stay with these big stories. It might not get the time to have these pure, quiet issues that Green Lantern has had.
Yeah, but you can also still do that hand in hand. Like, you could still have a sequence of Canary and Vixen.
Yeah.
You know, when they're doing stuff.
Probably my favourite moment of the issue might have been like Black Canary calling Batman out and he's shit and he's like, wait, you're going to surrender? Why were you doing that? Tell me, I'm here to make you honest. Be honest, damn it.
Well, I also like them helping clean up the city that got destroyed because they're heroes and that's what heroes do.
Yeah, they don't make out with Lois Lane while people are dying around them and screaming in pain.
Right, exactly. So I still like that Orlando is making them heroes. Such a weird story, and I am going to give it till the next arc.
Yeah.
Just because, but
I think it's worth it. I think Orlando's been good enough otherwise, and I don't think it's like difficult to read that it's worth sticking with till then. I
definitely didn't jump to read it like I did other things.
Oh yeah.
Or like I did the first, like I did the Rebirth issue and even the first issue. This I waited.
Yeah.
Just because.
For me, it's definitely in the Green Lantern's first arc kind of territory right now. Yeah. And hopefully it can do what that didn't grow and become something better afterwards.
Yeah. I wish they had a Prime Spotlight Justice League book right now. Like, it's kind of weird that they don't.
Which it's weird, isn't it? It's weird that we thought, maybe this will be the flagship one because Justice League definitely isn't. And then it's kind of not. It's kind
clearly
of
not.
It's its own quirky team thing that they're going to go for, and that's fine. But I'm like, where's your Justice League flagship thing?
And you had to call it Justice League of America and not Batman and the Outsiders, or just the Outsiders, like.
It feels like they just wanted the name on that one.
Even Justice League International would have worked, I think, for this one.
Or that too. It just feels, given it the JLA name, seemed like they wanted to make it more important than it appears to be. Yeah. So, and you can't give it Justice League because that's already being taken.
I wonder if they're almost saving like Justice League for events. Instead of having like a flagship Justice League book, they'll save it for events like we had versus Suicide Squad, and maybe the summer event is a Justice League, and that's all they show up for as the important.
Admittedly, I actually think that's how it should be done. In all honesty, I think that because Justice League ongoing, and we're kind of seeing this problem with the main Justice League book is to make it feel like a threat for the Justice League, they have to be this big, and it just feels kind of repetitive and like, is this another big thing that the Justice League will have to? Whereas if you save it just for the events, where it's the big things that bring everyone together, it feels more like a big deal, and maybe that's what you do.
I think we're just so conditioned to have a flagship Justice League book at the minute that it feels weird that we don't. Even though that feels like maybe that's the approach they're taking.
I know. Once we get a Justice Society book, I'll be fine, I think.
Yeah, I won't care.
Because then you get a team book that you enjoy reading because they're a team, and not that
The threats aren't what's important there at all.
It's exactly.
It's not about the story. It's
the
about
dynamics,
the relationships of the characters. Yeah.
Which I think this could become that. It just needs to. It's just this first arc of giving us this generic villain
maybe
team.
If it does, I'll go back and catch up.
Yeah.
But it gives me no motivation to want to read it right now.
Yeah, I don't understand what Orlando's doing, and not in one of the Morrison ways of, this might all come together. It's just why, why Lobo, why the Ray? I don't.
Oh, I get the Ray. I definitely get the Ray. We talked about this before, but I get the Ray as an inclusion. Lobo's the only one for me that sticks out as being.
Well, I'm saying, we thought it was gonna be a flagship, and you put Lobo.
Oh,
and Ray on there.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't get it.
Such a strange book.
Do you know what the book needs? Martian Manhunter. Boom. Fixed.
Right.
I wouldn't say fixed.
Oh, Supergirl, yeah.
Would help, but fixed is maybe a little extreme.
Give us that Cry for Justice vibe team, where there are kind of outcasts and people you wouldn't expect, but they build off of that. You had Captain Marvel Jr. on that team, and Supergirl, and the Golden Gorilla, Congo Bill.
That was a deep cut.
Why?